Hello, it's David here from Have a Cookie. I just recently watched a film featuring Justin Timberlake. I'm having sausage casserole for dinner, and I am playing Dwarfs. Now, Dwarfs is a top-down micromanagement game in which you control, or kind of control, some dwarfs in their quest to get gold. I mean, that's what dwarfs are all about, isn't it? Gold. But to do that, you've got to micromanage them, protect them from lava, water, minions, and also just try and get the most out of them for the least amount of money. Kind of like a giant corporation, but I digress. The objective, as I've already said, is to get gold, get minerals, get money, but you also protect your town, which could be destroyed by getting touched by water or lava, or by being brought to the ground by minions. The playfield consists of 5 elements. You have caves, which are darkened until you open them up, which makes open areas, which is also anywhere that a dwarf's dug. You also have soil, which a dwarf can dig, rock, which a dwarf can't dig, and minerals, which give you that extra boost in money. Now, the 2 types of dwarf you get is the digger dwarf, which will just randomly wander around, dig anywhere, and you can't tell it what to do, but it costs you money. We also have the warrior dwarf, which will fight for you. If it's at its base, it won't move around. Well, it'll do like a circle around its base, but it won't go anywhere else unless you tell it to, and then it will do whatever it wants outside of the base. Now, you initially start off with 1 dwarf, digger dwarf, and 1 warrior dwarf. You can have up to 8 in your town, warrior dwarfs, and you can have 4 in each outpost, which I'll cover later. The digger dwarfs just keep spawning from the hometown, and you can also toggle them to spawn from the outposts if you click the bear icon. And the cost of the outpost spawn differs depending on which difficulty you're on, but the normal difficulty is 50 gold per spawn. Now, the town, as I've already mentioned, is the central point. You always start off with the town, and you see the green grass area around the town will expand as your game goes on and you get more money. It's fairly easy to protect the town initially, especially from minions if you've got all your warriors there, but occasionally you may need to build some extra outposts around if you've got a lot of minions trying to attack your town and such. Each game is different, so you just have to adapt to it the best way you can. An outpost, on the other hand, is something which you can build anywhere on the game that is an open square. It does cost more and more each time, up to a maximum, which again differs depending on difficulty. But the outpost grants you the ability to spawn more dwarfs by clicking the bear, or you can have 4 warrior dwarfs. Just as a side note, I will usually just say dwarfs if I mean digger dwarfs, or warriors if I mean warrior dwarfs. Now, the outpost can also serve as a quick way of getting rid of minions. You can cannon your warrior dwarfs into battle and then call them back, depending on the range of the outpost, which is pretty useful, which means you can plan out your outposts depending on the range of each one and use that to save your money, so you don't just have outposts all over the place. And you can also use it to have more than 1 outpost send troops to, say, the Spider Queen or whatever, to dispatch her quickly. You can also use the outpost to train the dwarfs if you click the training dummy button, but it does eat up your money if you're not careful, so I would recommend using that as kind of a, if you've got loads of money spare. If not, just let your dwarfs get trained up by killing minions and such. Now, there is also several tools to help you win the game. There is arrows, which tell dwarfs where to go for a cost. This gets rid of their random nature and just makes them directly follow the arrow. And you can be clever with the arrows, such as drawing 1 arrow, leaving a gap, drawing another arrow, and hoping that the dwarf bridges the gap between arrows to save you a bit of money. Also, it's worth noting that if a dwarf passes minerals, arrow or no arrow, it will mine the minerals, so don't draw an arrow past minerals because it won't be used. You also have walls, which is good for stemming the flow of minions, water, lava, etc. Minions will break through walls, lava will break through walls, water won't, but dwarfs can break into lava. into walls, sorry, breaking into lava, breaking into the walls which can release water, but I will show you how to trap a cave later. But it's a good initial precaution. You can also use dynamite, which blows holes in the ground using anything that steps on it. Again, I'll get to that in cave trapping. And you have solidify, which makes the soil into rock unmineable. You can remove stuff using the middle mouse button. If you put an arrow or some dynamite down you don't want to be used. You also have the ability to speed up time, which is good for timed games, as the timer stays the same but the game speeds up. You can also slow time down briefly by pressing the spacebar, and it does have a cooldown, but it's very useful if lava has been discovered and you're at the other end of the map. Now, to trap a cave is quite simple. You've got lava or water or what have you. You initially block off with a wall, maybe a few walls if it's lava because it will eat the walls away. You then have to place some dynamite in front of the wall and have a dwarf, or if you can get a minion to step on it, that's even better, which will make a hole, and then you have to solidify the walls around the lava or water cave you'll get a grayed out and you'll have trapped the cave, which is essentially it. But you can also cheat. Well, it's not really cheating, it's part of the game, but if you see a dwarf heading towards a cave, have the dynamite ready to place. If it's a lava or water cave, click the dynamite down at the dwarf's feet. That way you're only wasting one dwarf instead of two because it's already made the hole. Now, that is pretty much the basics of the game. There is anything else to think of? I can't really think of anything. There are several game modes in this game, and if this video gets enough positive feedback, I'll do a gameplay of each game type, I guess. But apart from that, I think I've covered all the bases, so I will put a link to the game in Steam in the description, and I will let you have fun playing that. So, toodles.